Greetings, vinyl community. Hope you're all doing well. There's a couple. Well, by the way, I've been gone for a bit. Sorry. I've been working a lot with my job being deemed an essential service. I never thought I would be an essential person involved in an essential service, but apparently I am. But yes, it's been working, and haven't had a lot of time for videos. Plus, I wanted to wait until I got something which might make a difference for these videos. I did a test and they seems to be working well. I have a new microphone, which I paid a good amount of money for, so it should make a difference. Please tell me if you can notice a difference. The last live video it wasn't a problem with my camera. It was a problem with the live upstream from Facebook, or YouTube. Are we on YouTube or Facebook? We're on YouTube. Are we on Snapchat or MySpace? Take your pick. But it should be a noticeable difference in the quality of audio. So let me know if that's sounding a little bit better for you. A lot of people commented that the last live stream was fucking terrible, which it was. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot to tell you other than the introduction of a new microphone. It's right there, and it's distracting me. So I'll be looking like this the whole video. Yeah, and also what you can't see, which I tried to make visible, is another new turntable. Which, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably have seen another new turntable that I am trying out. So there will be a review of that coming up. Yeah. So I wish I had more to tell you other than it's work. But the thrift stores, our select locations in my city, have slowly opened up. There's a couple opened up in my city, and I have my first haul, I guess you could say, post. Well, it's not post-COVID because that's still going on. Post business is closing due to COVID, but I'm sure everything is the same in my city as your city. Possibly, things are slowly reopening with new rules in place. Which is kind of silly because, you know what, come October or September, this whole thing is going to come right back around because I see it in the streets. No one's paying attention to social distancing. No one gives a shit. So we're going to be right back in this mess again. And then I won't be able to thrift store again. So to you who are not social distancing, get your head out of your arse. Arse or ass. That was a combination of both, but I just woke up. Sorry. It's going to be arse. But cheers, everyone. All right. We're going to get right to this. I have a selection of new vinyl to show you first. I want to show you a Blu-ray first, and before the new vinyl. So that would make it first. New vinyl would be second. And then I have the thrift store haul and a few other little bits and bobs. So let's get right to this. I bought a Blu-ray. What frustrates me about streaming services for movies, etc., is you're dying to watch something, but either you have the wrong streaming service and you have to go sign up and pay for that one, which I'm not doing. It's not on any streaming service. Like I think right now I have two. I have Amazon Prime Video and I have what's a popular one called Netflix. And I got a hankering to watch this new documentary that's out. It's also out on Blu-ray, and of course, you have to have this other streaming service to watch it. And I'm not bothering with that. It's a ploy. I think they're all in cahoots. It's like the other Friday night, I was home and I wanted to watch. There's like one of three movies I wanted to watch. Very popular movies back in the day. Not on any streaming services. So this is a big plus for physical medium for video or DVD or VHS, Blu-ray. So I'm trying to remember my point here. My point is, I went out. I just got fucking tired of not finding this on a streaming service that I pay good money for, and I went out and got the new Eric Clapton. Well, it's new as in now it's available on physical medium. Is that a proper word? The physical medium? Physical format. For having a new microphone, you're sure catching a lot of really bad fuck-ups. But I'm not refilming this video. It's one and done. Eric Clapton, Life in 12 Bars. Genius Amplified. I've been really wanting to watch this documentary. I've heard some good things, heard some bad things, not bad things, heard some middling things about it. I had to watch it for myself. The bonus about getting the Blu-rays to get a lot of extra footage and whatnot. And, I really, I do recommend it if you've not seen it and you're a fan of Eric Clapton in any one of his stages. Unfortunately, I found it a little too heavy on the tragedies of his life, which, I mean, I'm sure they needed to document in one form or another. And it was less about music than I wanted. Of course, concentrating on his want for Patty Boyd, and then his heroin addiction, and then his son dying tragically, and his this and that and the other thing, that, and his horrible relationship with his mother, and this and that makes for better drama, but it sacrifices content about music, which is what I wanted to see it for. I mean, the Patty Boyd thing's been covered a million times over. We all know about it. But I guess this isn't really made for someone like me. It's made for possibly someone who's voting on in a festival, film festival circuit, or it's, I don't know, someone who just doesn't know Eric Clapton, I suppose. But I would have liked to see a hell of a lot more about Cream, the Blues Breakers. They're all, the Blues Breakers was okay covered, stuff like that. But anyways, it was a little too, like I said, I'm just going to wrap this up now. This review of this DVD. A little too focused on the drama of his life, and it sacrifices a lot of opportunity to talk about his influence on music. It does cover it, not in depth as much as I wanted, but there you go. It's well worth a punt anyways. It wasn't expensive. It was like $12.99 for the Blu-ray. All right, that is it for non-vinyl. Let's get right to the vinyl. We're 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. Need to speed this along. There's 2 albums in here by this artist, and it now completes my collection for this artist. It's Siouxsie and the Banshees. I found this on sale. This was brand new. This is her album, Superstition. It was, I think, the last one that I added to my collection. For some reason, I thought it was I hadn't heard it since it came out, although I have the CD in my collection over there somewhere. And I hear the song Kiss Them For Me, which was the big hit off this album. I still hear it on the radio all the time. I kind of, in my mind, for some reason, thought the album was a lot poppier than what it is. And then upon re-listening to it, it's got this one odd song that's kind of poppy by default. I don't think they designed it to be a hit, but it's hooky as hell, and it's just a great song, and it became a hit kind of almost by accident. And the rest of the album it's a perfect blend of dark and upbeat, if you know what I mean. The song Fear of the Unknown was my favorite song off this album. But anyways, Siouxsie and the Banshees, Superstition. This is a brand new pressing, double vinyl. Insanely. It's recorded, it's half-speed mastered at Abbey Road Studios, so it sounds like all the new Siouxsie and the Banshees remasters. This is I think the first of this series I bought, because I have original pressings of the other ones. But it's half-speed mastered at Abbey Road Studios, I believe, by Miles Showell. But it sounds absolutely fantastic. So Siouxsie and the Banshees, Superstition. Happy to finally add that one, and it was on sale, which kind of sealed the deal for me. Let's talk Lemmy from Motorhead. His band before Hawkwind was a band called Sam Gopal. Or there's a gentleman named Sam Gopal, but it was a band. Some of you are aware of this reissue. Where's Lemmy? There's Lemmy right there, but he went by his real name in there. I can't remember what his real name was, Ian something or other. But he went under Ian Lemmy something or other. But this was his band, and he played rhythm guitar in this band, and they were I mean, to find an original copy of this album would be very, very hard. But so I believe his name, and I'm farting on the details. This is, I believe, his name. I believe this might be Sam Gopal, or it's Gopal something. But he plays like the tablas, so it's heavy psych with no drums, but just tablas instead of drums, and it's very interesting and it's very good. And I believe, I know Lemmy sings on, I'm not sure if Lemmy sings on all the songs, but he does sing a lot on this album. But if you're in any ways interested about the Lemmy era Hawkwind or Motorhead, to see where he kind of evolved from, or you just want this as a standalone, really, really good hidden psych album, Sam Gopal. Highly, highly recommend the reissue that's out right now. And it comes with a bonus 7-inch inside. So, yeah, cheers to this reissue label. I don't remember what it's called now. But anyways, for putting out a really good version of... and I am assuming the original master tapes weren't that great to start with, because it doesn't sound fantastically sonically, but it's all there. You can hear how great of an album it is. So I was added that to my collection, because once again, it was on sale, and I'm cheap. I hope this microphone's making a big difference, because it was expensive. Think of what you want about this individual, but I was never a big fan of his solo material, and I've showed a few of his albums lately in the last year, I guess, the last calendar year. And I've been slowly kind of investigating his solo work after being a big fan of the Smiths in the 80s and 90s my whole life. But and you have to listen to his records and shut off your thoughts about him as a person. But Morrissey, The Years of Refusal, I'm not going to probably buy any more of his solo albums. I think I have Low in High School. I think I have Your Arsenal. I have a couple other ones possibly. And I added Years of Refusal because it is a really good guitar-based album. On it, it says, play very loud. And you probably should. It's a very, very good... What year is this from? This is from 2008. And it's a very good guitar album. When he is singing behind a really good band, playing very loud guitars, he's actually quite good. It's just when he's outside of music pontificating about his personal beliefs that it makes it very difficult to like the guy, unless you happen to believe in his morals. But I'm not here to make judgment on people. But anyways, I really like this album. This is the reissue. I'm not sure if came on vinyl to start with, but it's on Lost Highway. The sound is okay. I like to comment on sound quality sometimes. The sound quality is, it's good. It's not great, but it doesn't. This album doesn't cost a lot of money. It was like $19.99, so you're getting it at a good price, but you're sacrificing a little bit of value, or not value. You're sacrificing a little bit of sound quality on it. So, 6 or half dozen of the other. But Morrissey, Years of Refusal, probably the last one I'll be adding to my collection. But good. It's a good guitar album. Finally. Is this finally for the new records? This is finally for the new records. For being such a big fan of this band, it took me a long time to add this album to my collection because it got lost in the shuffle. And the band is always going to turn out good quality stuff, so I wasn't in any hurry to getting it. But their albums do go out of print rather quickly. They do a limited run. Not they, but the record label. And then Nuclear Blast, I guess that is, does they do, they only print so many records. They don't generally repress them unless it's a massive band. And then if you miss the boat, you miss the boat. So I've slowly seen this album selling out of stores. They're not able to get it back in. So I found one store that had it in. It's the latest album by Death Angel called Human Side. And this is limited to 1,000 on bottle green and purple splatter. I've been a fan of Death Angel since their first album when I was in high school called The Ultraviolence. It's kind of one of those albums that really kind of changed where, it opened the door for a lot of music like that. And it's definitely, The Ultraviolence was one of those albums that kind of changed. I wouldn't say it changed my life. sounds over dramatic, but it did, as far as my music listening, it did take it to another area. And every album they've released has been great. So this album, while every album has been good, this album is great. It's maybe my favorite album since Act 3, perhaps, which was their third album. There was Ultraviolence, Frolic Through the Park, and which, that's okay. Act 3 was okay too, but it's definitely, I think, one of their best albums since they reformed years ago. And I don't know how they keep on churning this stuff out. It's the best album they've done in years and years, and I can't recommend it enough. If you're into this kind of music, Death Angel, Human Side, just a friggin' amazing metal album. Relentless. I mean, it is kind of one-dimensional, where it is kind of, in years gone by, they experimented a lot, like Frolic Through the Park and Act 3, they kind of experimented with different tempos and different paces of music, if that makes sense. But this one's kind of put your head down and I'll see you at the end, because this is going to be hard and fast and it's great. All right, thrift store haul. All right, my first thrift store haul. Thrift stores have been opening about a week and a half in my area, 2 weeks, and I've found zilch. I mean, I don't think they've put out a whole lot, and I don't know why, because people kept on donating. But maybe it's just taken them this long to kind of go through everything and start pricing stuff out. And I know they definitely have a reduced staff. At least I'm talking about my thrift stores. So I'm going to say that maybe mine may be typical of maybe thrift stores in the area. Staff have been greatly reduced. The hours have been greatly reduced. So it's just taking them a while to put stuff out, I'm finding. Cheers, everyone. But lo and behold, so I got something in my eye. I think it's COVID. It's taken them a while to get the media out. I seen clothes going out, and fucking knickknacks made for old women, macrame fucking teapot holders, and just garbage has gone out. And I haven't seen any really good stereo equipment or any good records. This week they slowly started putting some of that out, and then records are coming out finally. And I'm not going to say this is the be all and end all haul of all time, but it's a damn good one in my opinion, after not having found anything at thrift stores for months now because they've been closed. But let's start with this one. This one is a Canadian band. This album is probably worth more outside of Canada, if you look on Discogs, than it is in Canada. But this is an original pressing, Columbia 2i, of The Perth County Conspiracy Does Not Exist. Really crazy, slightly messed up psych band. Psych folk kind of thing. Very highly regarded, I guess, in psych circles, I'm guessing. But like I said, if you're going to find this album, you're going to find it in Canada. And it's, like I said, if you were to list this on Discogs, which I don't sell on Discogs, but if you were, I'm going to guarantee you it's going to go to some other country. So where you cannot find these albums. But Perth County Conspiracy Does Not Exist, and it's a minty copy too at that original Columbia 2i pressing. I'm going to be quick on that one because it's probably who's going to know that outside of maybe Dan Keane. I found this one, and people on Instagram were kind of amazed that this is another psych album that I found. It's a Japanese pressing of a band called Trader Horn, Morning Way, from Sorry, a little burp there. I think, what year is this from now? Sorry, I forgot to even look. I want to say 69 or something like that. But it's all written in Japanese. But it's on the Dawn label. Original pressing from Japan. Trader Horn, Morning Way. Very, very rare, psyche, beautiful. It's a beautiful psychedelic folk album, which is a much overused term. But if there is going to be an album in a list of albums that epitomize what a great psychedelic folk album is, this, in my opinion, would be in that conversation of albums that would exemplify it. Original Japanese pressing on Dawn Records. Trader Horn, Morning Way. Because a lot of people won't know this album, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to talk about it. But like I said, investigate it, have a look, have a listen. Just look on Wikipedia. It tells you always when I'm listening to records that I don't know, even if I do know the record, while I'm listening on my on my headphones, I'm invariably, I look it up on Wikipedia just to read about the record, or I'll be on some other site just reading about the record as I'm listening. I always find that kind of enhances the listening pleasure. I don't know, ribbed for your comfort or your pleasure. Trader Horn. Yeah, that's something I do anyways. I don't know if you all do that, but I like to pop on the old Wikipedia, and although Wikipedia is not 100% true, we know that. It's going to give you a general idea about the album. Cheers, everyone. You know what? Yeah, anyways, got a copy of Bill Evans' Trio. Everybody digs Bill Evans. As a lot of you know, I have been, I wouldn't say obsessed. I've been I've shown you a lot of Bill Evans albums lately. If you don't know, if you have not seen one of my videos recently, Bill Evans played on, the biggest reference I can make is he was the piano player for almost all the songs on Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. And he is well regarded as maybe the greatest jazz pianist of all time, which is kind of a term that would scare me off. And then I saw a documentary on him, which I still watch all the time on Amazon Prime Video. And I just understood the man, and it just got me really interested in the music. And it's something so unlike that I would normally like or listen to. And that's what maybe attracted me to it, is why am I liking this music? Is it age? I'm going to guess it's age. With age sometimes comes, you don't have that piss and vinegar in you all the time. You don't need to listen to hard all the time. Sometimes with age comes a little bit of maturity. Your ears are more seasoned. You're more of a seasoned listener. So I've been really, really into Bill Evans albums. And it really calms me down. And it really just lets me come home from work and relax. And I love it. So I got a copy of Everybody Digs Bill Evans. I don't know what kind of pressing this is. I know it's not an original. I know it was $3.99 at a thrift store. But I'm gonna guess it's a OJC, Original Jazz Classics pressing. Now that I'm looking at it now, but on Riverside Records. Definitely in my top of the albums I've heard so far from Bill Evans, in my top 3 Bill Evans albums. I can't recommend him enough if you're an old fart like me and you're really into jazz, or you want to get into jazz and you want something that's just gonna mellow things out a bit. Cheers. All right. Jethro Tull, Stormwatch. Never owned this album. Actually, have I owned this album? I'm not sure. I may have been gleefully ignorant, and maybe I have found this in another thrift store haul and sold it. But someone who I work with when I DJ, a guy named Tyson, told me that this was, and he's a person I highly regard. He told me that this was his favorite Jethro Tull album. He's a big Jethro Tull fan. And I had to realize that I did like this album when I heard it, but I don't remember. It's been so long since I heard it. So I found a copy, and I love this album. In the realm of Jethro Tull. It's from 1979, Stormwatch. I think it's one of the better Jethro Tull albums, please, if you want to investigate Jethro Tull. I know everyone wants to go for Thick as a Brick and Aqualung, but try Stormwatch. A little bit more of an accessible album. And then here's the other album by Susie and Banshees that I found. I'm not sure why I'm doing that, but by the way, does everyone have one of these guys in their town? I don't know why I'm even thinking about this. I think every town or city has one of those guys that just walks around town doing this. He just walks around and his fingers snap like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's usually in probably low-income areas. Everywhere I've been in this world, especially in my city, if you go to the north side, there's always some dude walking around doing that. I don't know if anyone out there knows what I'm thinking about or what I'm talking about. But if you know what I'm talking about, I need you to leave a comment and say, I got one of those dudes in my town. I've been to Copenhagen and other places where there's been one random dude who looks like he's going to ask you for a smoke and he's doing that thing. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a mental twitch or something wrong with them. Susie and the Banshees Through the Looking Glass. My Susie and the Banshees collection is done. This is an original pressing I found. Through the Looking Glass is a covers album. But it's a fantastic covers album. They do The Passenger, which was one of the singles off this album, which is fantastic. And those Wheels on Fire, I guess, was a single as well. But it's regarded, in my opinion, and not just me, others, I guess, as one of the better covers albums you'll ever hear, because it's not a straight covers album. It's they add their own influence into these songs. So Susie and the Banshees Through the Looking Glass, my collection is now done. The Church, Remote Luxury. I've never owned this album. I do love The Church. I love Starfish and some of their other albums. But this was their first album in North America. It was their first album on Warner, And what it is a compilation album of their earlier stuff that I think, from what I read, the record label Warner Brothers wanted to introduce them to the North American market. Is what they thought the best thing to do. And it was not unusual. There's a few other bands that I know of that they've done this to, where they've taken a lot of the best of their other albums and put this album together and slapped it together and made it look like a brand new album and released it to North American audiences. Fantastic album, Remote Luxury by The Church from 1980, I want to say 84. Church is a fantastic band from Australia, by the way. We're going to come into some, well, you know what? Let's go with this. Classic Straubs. I do like some Straubs, not all of it, but this is a double. We're talking thrift store finds, by the way, so it's not like I broke the bank on these. I do like some Straubs, not all of them, by the way, but you know what? I think it was worth a punt just to get a good overview of the stuff that I'm not familiar with, the Straubs, and I'm going to hurry now. But this was a really good find. This is an original A&M pressing of Shine On Brightly by the Procol Harum. This was re-released for Record Store Day a couple years ago. So, I mean, someone must have thought, Universal Records must have thought that there was a demand for this album. But I found, I'm not lying, these are all in excellent condition, by the way, or I probably wouldn't have bought them. Absolute minty condition copy of Shine On Brightly by Procol Harum. Whenever I do find this album, it's usually wrecked to shit. First time I've ever seen this album at a thrift store that it's not wrecked. No ring wear, a little bit right there, but who cares? The vinyl's fantastic, by the way. There you go. Emerson, you're going to see a theme coming up here of someone who donated some progressive rock albums. Like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Works. Yeah. I have a cursory knowledge of ELP. I do own Tarkus and Brain Salad Surgery and the ones you should own. Not Love Beach. Don't own that one. I've heard it. Don't own it. But anyways, I'll give this a listen to later tonight. Mike Oldfield, Airborne. Mike Oldfield is incredibly underrated because everyone hyper focuses on Tubular Bells, or there's a couple other albums that they kind of hyper focus on, and they forget that he's intermixed with those albums. He's had some other really good ones. Airborne, I've not heard in a while though, so I can't comment if it's great or not. But it's from 1980. Mike Oldfield, but I wasn't going to pass it up there. Another copy of George Harrison's Cloud 9. This one's a definite upgrade to my copy. This one is utterly minty as mint gets as far as a used record goes. So that will replace my copy. John Anderson, Songs of Seven. I'd never owned this album, but I do love, what's it called? Something of Sun Hillo. Fuck, I listen to this album all the time too, and this is a live video, not live, I'm not doing retakes, so of course I'm going to brain fart on a couple. Elias of Sun Hillo. The brain's not gone yet. Elias of Sun Hillo, I was a really big fan of his first solo album, and this is, I'm not sure if this is his second solo album, but this is 1980, so this is probably when he left Yes, and then Yes went on to do Drama, with Trevor Horn on vocals, and Drama is a fantastic album. But anyways, he did Songs of Seven, and I haven't heard this album in a while, but I never owned it for some reason. Some jazz. The Don Friedman Trio, Circle Waltz on Riverside, the same label as Bill Evans. I don't know this album, but I just know it was on Riverside. It's, you know, it's rated pretty highly. When I found it, I kind of looked it up. It's produced by Orrin Newskeep, who owned Riverside Records, who did all the Bill Evans albums. Anyways, and Chuck Israeli's on bass, and he went on to be in Bill Evans' band later on. Anyways, I'm going to listen to this, and I will report back. And then Jimmy Smith, Any Number Can Win, original mono pressing on Verve Records. Beautiful condition copy of this if you're into organ jazz. And I'm trying to hurry up here. I'm going to skip a couple, and then I'm going to... I got, you know what, I will buy Bollywood soundtracks, because I always have someone I know who always wants them from me. Or Ravi Shankar albums. Because you know what? I just sometimes you want to try something different. And even though you might not like it, it's good to not be ignorant of a kind of music. So I found this at the thrift store at the same hall. This is all one big haul. Original pressing of, oh no, I don't think it's original. This is on Liberty Records anyways, of Ravi Shankar's Three Ragas. His interpretations of Three Ragas. And then the Gandhi soundtrack, which is essentially Ravi Shankar. So... I'm not going to talk a lot about those because not a lot of people will care, I guess. But the only other jazz one or jazzy kind of one is Shakti with John McLaughlin. And I kind of bought this because of John McLaughlin. Haven't heard it yet, but I'm going to, once again, listen to it and then report back, and then I'll forget to report back. Copy of the Guess Who Flavors. This is a Guess Who album without Randy Bachman. After Randy Bachman left, went to do BTO, I assume. I have not heard this album, so I don't know. Honestly, I'm not that well versed in the Guess Who, where I could tell you that their music was any good after Randy Bachman left, but it was there in really good condition. A really good compilation album. Then we're gonna get to one more album, and it's gonna be A Lesson. I still got something in my eye. This is going to be a lesson learned, the next album. But it's a really good compilation it's oddly on K-Tel. But there's some really good K-Tel albums that came out. This is Southern Fried Rock. And it was in the same hall, but it's much like what you think it is. It's the kind of a best of Southern rock. And it's everyone you would want. It's the Outlaws, Greg Allman Brothers, Elvin Bishop, Steve Miller, for whatever reason, Pure Prairie League, Molly Hatchet, Wet Willie, Charlie Daniels. I mean, it's pretty much a who's who of your Southern rock. And I wasn't going to leave it there because sometimes you want some Southern rock in your life. Who doesn't want some Allman Brothers in your life? They're fucking fantastic. So this I thought, you know what, for a good Friday or Saturday night, this might be a good kind of just overview of some Southern rock stuff. This is what I'm going to call a lesson. Not a lesson that anyone will learn anything from, but sometimes I buy albums on gut instinct and going by the cover. And I'm kind of so far into my record buying life that I'm usually kind of right. Well, the label usually puts out good stuff. The cover looks fantastic. Looks like it could be this, could be that. The producer is well regarded. It looks kind of good. But I don't know the band. This is one of those. I went at the thrift store, and this was a blind buy by a band called Hunt. And the album is called Back on the Hunt. I believe they were from Toronto or one of those boroughs of Toronto. It was on Capitol Records, though, in 1980, I believe. But I look at the cover, and it's like, this has got to be some kind of... It's very reminiscent of some metal albums of the day. It's very reminiscent. It could be something kind of hard, progressive hard rock or something. It's got maybe kind of that kind of vibe. So it's a three-piece band. And the instruments they play kind of tell you it's either going to be exactly what I said. It's going to be a hard rock thing, or it's going to be kind of a hard progressive band, and I'm all for that. I'm all in. Take my couple bucks. And they do a Paul Kossoff song. I didn't know that. Oh no, it's a Bad Company, or is it Bad Company? No, it's Free. They do a Free song. I didn't know that. Anyways, it's terrible. It is horrible. It's about, like I said, I was expecting something, and I was looking for any kind of redeeming quality of this album, and it is the most bog standard, generic, hard-ish rock you could ever listen to. And it's even on the generic scale, it's even kind of tipping towards the suckage, suckage to okay bog standard. It's this way, suckage. I feel like if I wasn't so against breaking records and just punching a hole through them, I would do it to this one. But they got me. Good for you, Hunt. You fooled everyone to thinking that you had a good album inside here, but you didn't. Anyways, we're going to wrap this up here. I'm trying to see how I'm feeling, if I got some time in life to start making more videos, because it's been... I've never usually made more than one every week or 2 weeks, but some people have been mentioning that maybe I should start making more. It might... I do have several on the go in different pieces of on the go, and it's just kind of deciding which ones I want to complete, etc., etc. I do want to show you this new turntable. I did have a kind of a thing about, I talked to my wife about to stop making videos. Whether it was, I kind of consulted her, as I do sometimes, about whether, am I getting anything out of them? Am I, is it just becoming a chore? Because you're this far deep into making videos, and you do have a bit of an audience who clicks on your videos, and I'm gonna take the advice of maybe take some advice from her and from other people, and just kind of try to do a bit more videos, not like every day, but maybe one a week. Get back into that routine, or maybe of vinyl finds, and then something that's not vinyl finds, which those are the ones that I have kind of done in various degrees of completion. And so I was going to stop making videos altogether, but I think I'll forge on for now and complete those videos I have, and we'll see where it goes from there. So just letting you know. I know I did say last video that I was thinking about stopping, which came very close, but I'm going to try and see if some of these videos might work. Obviously, I want people to watch my videos. I'm not going to get as many views as other people, better looking than I. But you know what? I'm happy with the numbers I get, and as long as that people, I think to me it's worth my while. Anyways, so I want to say a final goodbye to everyone. Not a final goodbye a final goodbye for this video. Cheers, everyone. Follow me on Instagram, NAZZ or ZZ, NAZZ_NOMAD, Nazz_Nomad. Follow me on Instagram. See what I'm playing. See what I'm up to. Cheers, everyone. The Kiss mug is back after being lost for many months. I found it. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Peace.